My name is Emily, and I'm gonna talk to you about drawing. I'm using Clip Studio Paint. And a quick overview of Clip Studio Paint. We've got our brushes panel over here. We've got our brushes preset panel over here. Color wheel over here. The layers panel right here. And then this is the canvas. I'm using a 10 by 10 inch canvas on a 300 DPI. 300 DPI is standard for print, and 72 to 150 DPI is standard for what's it called? Digital. But I would always default to always default to 300 in case you ever want to print something, and you can always size down, but you can't size back up. If you don't have Clip Studio Paint, other programs are Photoshop, Procreate, Fire Alpaca, which is free, Medibang, Autodesk Sketchbook, which is an app, just like Procreate and Medibang, and then Sketch.io is an online browser drawing app that you can use if you don't want it's free and you just want to follow along. And I'm gonna go over like how to do stick figures, like going from like a stick figure to bulking up that stick figure into something a little heftier. Do you need a program? No, you can follow along with a pencil and paper. And so here we go. What did I do? Okay, here. So I'm gonna be going over like, I don't like that color. Dark. So here's like a simple stick figure. Here's like bulking up that stick figure, and then like kind of going from there. There's just like leveling. Oh. Like this. And the way that you level up is through the use of shapes. And shapes are used to build everything, because most people would start with a circle with a face, and then go from there. Like, you want to add some bulk on the bottom, and find your like center line, and eyes can be made out of circles. And from the eyes come the eyebrows. The mouth is kind of like a half circle, and the nose is like a triangle. And that's kind of like how you draw a face. So I'm going to teach you how to go from stick to simple shapes to finishing that simple face into an object. And here's some like transitions, like really easy, get in there, and then more complicated. Here are some like things that you can do with a circle. So here's kind of like just a basic here's kind of like the basic circle shape, and then I extended the object down to create the chin, and then used like ovals for the eyes. Here the circle is squished, but it's also longer. And so what I did was build from the eyes here, and the nose is kind of like a diamond. And extended the chin really long. So this is basically a square and an oval overlapped together. And then the neck is like a really long trapezoid. Upside down trapezoid. So those are the basic shapes that make up this person. And this one is kind of like a trapezoid but rounded. And I decided their center line was here. And then I built from there. This one I didn't do like a good structure on, but this is the structure. Let's see. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm looking at the Twitch chat right now. And I'll try and answer any questions if anybody like gets confused or I seem to be skipping over things. Here are some like different variations of eyes, eyebrows, noses, ears, mouths, and face shapes. So that's just expanding on what I was going over on the previous layer. And hands. Hands are like the hardest thing because they're made out of a lot of different shapes. They're like, if this is a wrist, right? And this is like the joint for the wrist. Out of that wrist is this shape for a palm. And the like thumb area, there's some webbing there. And the thumb. And the thumb usually lines up with the top part of the palm. And fingers kind of go like this. But there's an easier way to draw hands, and if you're just like really stuck on them, is figure out where these three fingers are and figure out where this finger is. And that doesn't mean like always do it like this. It means like draw at least one finger and then like a mitten will help you figure out how to structure the hand, and that just makes it simpler. Yes, I find hand gestures very difficult. I always, like, hands are the one thing where I'm gonna, like, take tons of pictures of my own hand or go online and look at tons of pictures because I hate them, and they've got like lots of little pieces. Hands and feet I hate. If I'm gonna draw a foot, I might just draw like a triangle and like do this and call it good. But yeah, I don't know why I started erasing that. Okay, so now that I've kind of gone over some of that stuff, we're gonna just go right into drawing, because one of the things with drawing is you just kind of start. You just kind of go. Or at least I like to just go and then figure out, like, okay, what do I want? Because if you overthink some things, it just kind of sucks. So I like to use a pencil tool for sketching, and I usually like to do it in blue. So we're going to start with the stick figure, and he's going to be so happy. That we're all here today. I know it's weird that a stick figure has like hands like this, but I'm just gonna do it. Yeah. And then from this stick figure, that's a pretty good stick figure. It's got feet, it's got hands, and arms and legs, and a body. So this is actually what we can call an action line. Which is kind of going to give us movement in our drawing. And it helps us be not like super stiff or whatever. Okay. And here's where I'm gonna go to my layer tool, and I'm gonna decrease the opacity, and I'm gonna create a new layer. In this, if I were using pen and paper, I would get a kneaded eraser and just kind of roll the eraser along the paper to lift up the lead. And that does the same effect. As long as you're not drawing super hard. Drawing super hard on paper, it'll like create a little indent, and you're never gonna get that indent to go away, or like the lead's never gonna be completely gone from that paper. So when you're just starting out, learning how to draw light is really good, and learning how to draw long, broad strokes is really good. Because a lot of time with new artists, I see them do this kind of thing, where they're building their shapes with a lot of short lines, and one, that's bad for your wrist, and two, you're not learning how to create, because when I do this, I already kind of have like the physical and mental trigger in my brain that's calculating the distance of how far I want the basic head shape to be from the bottom of the chin, and where I want this line to go. When you're doing this, you're segmenting that all up, and it's going to be harder for you to feel your distances between everything. So when you do long, broad strokes, you're developing your sense of what's the word? Confidence. I think it's like confidence. So, we've got our stick guy. And let's just call the head shape fine for now. We're going to give them a neck. And then we're going to give them a torso. This torso is going to be like this shape. They're going to have almost equal parts top torso to... Actually, we're going to make this shorter. The bottom torso. This would be where like your belly button is. And from there, I'm building up on triangles. A lot of people will do like this kind of thing to build up shapes. And that's fine, but it's really segmented and it's really easy to get stiff. So I like to do like squares and triangles. As long as they're following like some sort of motion. And yeah. Arms would be the same way. Here's like a triangle where it would be your shoulder. And another like piece where it would be the elbow. And you don't have to stay on your thing, because when you start drawing and you realize, wow, that stick figure is not proportioned the way I want it to be, well, that's fine. You can always fix things as you go along. Okay, and right now we've just got a blank face, like, here's where the chin would be, here's the top of the head, here's the side of the head, here's where an ear would be. He's facing pretty forward, so you would almost see both ears, probably. Who do we want to make this guy? Or girl, doesn't matter. Nobody? Okay, well, I'm just gonna do a generic person. So I'm going to draw two kind of circle shapes with circles in them, and like an upside down triangle, and that's gonna start the mouth and the eyebrows. Hi, Space Cat Girl. Ooh, a magical girl? Sailor Moon? Yeah, we can do that. Sorry, my chat must have been super delayed because I didn't have anything for a while. Okay, so Sailor Moon. I'm gonna draw Usagi. I'm gonna draw her in her school outfit. Like, she just got out of school and she's on her way to the arcade. And they have like a sale on some street food or whatever. So I did this pretty quick. But basically what I did was, I drew her outfit, which, when you have like a body, right? It's never gonna go, like, you gotta leave room for the body in your clothes, so, And you gotta think of what the material is gonna be made out of. The outfit that Usagi has for her school uniform is pretty loose. And it's kind of like a crop top, and then she has like a super long skirt. I don't remember what her socks look like. I think this is a point where would be a good time to look up references, which for me usually consists of getting on Google Image and searching a character. Okay, so her socks are folded over like this, and then she wears like, oh god, this foot's gonna be in a weird position because you're gonna see the bottom of it. Like that. Her foot's like that. And so you see how I did this? This was my triangle for the foot, but then I looked up a reference and I realized that this position that I had, there's gonna be the bottom of a foot, and then there's gonna be like the side part of a foot. So we broke down where the bottom was gonna be and where the top was gonna be. And then I added on a heel because her shoes happen to have heels on them. And they kind of curve down like that. So, down and then up. So that's why I did that. And then they have like a cross section. Her shoes, feel like this, and then she has socks. Okay, gosh, let's see. And then got all this extra junk. Oops, no, that's fine. So we need to finish her hair, which, if she's jumping, you gotta imagine, like, what part of the jump she's in. So it looks like if she started a jump and then she's on the descend. This is where she is. So during this part, her hair would be going down and then reaching the peak. They would be going like this, and then on the descend, they would hit the air, so there'd be a bit of drag. So, we're gonna do that. And then her hair at the bottom does some weird, like, spirally thing. In the anime, they didn't even, some parts they didn't even bother to connect some of them. So, in the anime, it was just kind of like this, and then a spiral, and then this shape. And that was enough. That's, like, enough. A lot of anime and cartooning is, it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be entirely realistic. It just has to be close enough. Hold on. There we I had to reload my Twitch because it, like, froze, but, if anybody asked any questions, please let me know. But, let's see. And here's a good point where we've got our sketch and we can look at if we like it, if we want to make any changes. Let's see. I don't happen to like this leg. And yeah, I just think if I move this leg, it'll be a little bit better. So I'm going to erase it. If you aren't really sure, actually, you can always hold down your layer and then drag it over to the new layer button. It's going to duplicate that layer for you, so you can save it for later. If you ever decide you want to go back to it. So that you're not like, oh gosh, I made that change and I shouldn't have. We are gonna do that for her other foot. Oh crud. This reminds me of, how she's always, like, running with toast in her mouth now. Maybe I should change it to that? I'm gonna create a new layer and look at that. Explore that option. So, this is her bag. Her school bag that she's got over her shoulder. And I'm going to change the eyes so they're looking this way. And she's got her toast. Okay, and now that we're actually changing the position, her hair would no longer be doing like this thing. It'd be like trailing behind her. Like, we're gonna go like that. Okay. See, am I missing anything? I'm gonna bring up a picture of Usagi and actually put her in so we can observe. Okay, there we go. That's really tiny, but it's gonna be fine. And it's on a different layer. I'm gonna make Usagi bigger. And okay. Now would be a good time to pull up a running pose. Oh my gosh, I love this Mad Dash. We're gonna get that one. Sorry, you guys can't see my internet because I appended the streaming to okay. So here we've got a running guy and Usagi. So we're just gonna see if we like this. So we've got her put like that. That's her hip. Okay, I see. So now we found the problem with this leg. This is why we look at references, because I'm like, oh man, that looks working awkward. And so we can kind of see like, what am I doing wrong? So when we're running, the upper body pulls forward, but the lower body is kind of dragging behind in a way. I need her legs super tiny. Not very shoujo of me. But we're gonna make her smaller and say, okay. And then we're gonna grab her legs, and make them bigger. Kind of. I was like, okay. Control D that. Back to my pencil tool. Yes, okay. That's gonna be good enough for a sketch. And I'm gonna go into doing some line art. So, does anybody have any questions for me? On like what I just did? Okay. Okay, I've switched to a black color. I'm on a new layer. And I'm going to start with some line art. Line art doesn't have to be super clean, especially when you're just starting out. But the cleaner you can make it, the easier your coloring is going to be. And you don't always have to follow your sketch 100%. It's just, whatever you decide to do. Because, you know, it's your art. I love fat toast. So she's gonna have, like, the chunkiest of toast. Some butter. I ink on raster layers, but you can ink on vector layers in Clip Studio. And I can show you how to do that if you want. Let's see. So raster layers are made up of pixels. But they can't be scaled indefinitely. Vector can be scaled indefinitely because it uses some sort of math that I'll never understand to keep it that way. So on Clip Studio you can use vector layers, which is right next to the new raster layer button, and if I draw a line, I can go in and correct the line later, and if I roll over it, you can see that it's made up of a lot of different points, and those points can be edited to better serve you. And I love vector. I just don't use it because I'm lazy and don't click over to that one, or I'd rather work harder and continually redo a line over and over again. But yeah, that's a vector. This is my line art layer. Also, I haven't been naming my layers, but it's a good idea to, because you never want to be on the wrong layer and then need to change something, and now you're unable to easily make the change. This face is so squished, but I don't care. Like, I don't need eyelashes, really. I don't want to draw a nose. But you can draw a nose. I just don't think I gave her enough head space. That's okay, we can change that. I clicked OK. And we're gonna go. Ooh, I haven't used GIMP before. I gotta pretend I know where the chin is gonna be, and then there we go. And then her neck is right here. And her like little, there we go. So this is how I kind of like to draw, because I like when, M Red Dragon art. What specifically were you wondering how I did? Oh, fixing the head. Okay, yes. So this is the lasso tool, and I like to keep it on this lasso. So you can you can draw around a selection of your art, and then there's this button right here that says scale and rotate. If you hover over it, Clip Studio is going to tell you like what the tool is, and then that allows you to move it around. So you can then decide, I want the shoulders like way down here or something, or something needs to be wider but the shape is alright, and then you can go like, you can put it over where you need it to be and then correct the line. So what I did was I selected from this squiggly hairline all the way around the head to her cheek, the bottom of her cheek that connects with the toast, and I moved it up, and then I waited for this like little rotatey button to come along, and I rotated it slightly until I thought it looked right. Because a lot of what you do is, when you draw, is ask yourself, does that look how I want it to look? And then say yes or no, and then think about how that you can fix it. And that comes with practice, and learning, expanding your visual library, which is looking at a lot of resources and then breaking down those resources, which you can do by, like tracing over them and then like looking at them and like, okay, so this is how, this is how a circle works, or this is how like a face rotates in space or looks in a certain lighting. By actively thinking about that, you're unconsciously for later, and that's what a visual library is. But I'm going to cancel because I don't want to change that, and then I'm going to Control D, which means deselect. Yeah. And I think I'm running out of time, so I'm not going to get very far in this. But I'm glad that I was able to come and talk to everybody and kind of hopefully get people wanting to start art. And hopefully seeing someone draw and they don't entirely know, like seeing someone from the beginning sketch process to kind of the, like middle process, instead of seeing like, oh, here's a work in progress, yay! And then all of a sudden you see like the big shiny Instagram post, and you're like, how did they even do that? Yes. I don't know when I'm supposed to leave. Oh, thank you, Magic, the Magic Hat. Okay, yeah. I was running all the letters together, thinking, and thank you, Red Dragon Art, also. Very happy to have you guys here and listening to me. Oh, that's so good. I hate it when I get art block, because, like, I'll just sit on a couch for days, and then I'm like, I don't know, and then I'll get on, Pinterest or something, and I'm like, oh, that's it, I'm gonna draw frogs, or whatever. hair is like, hair does its own thing, but Usagi's is literally just tubes. So if you can draw like this kind of shape, you can draw a tube or whatever. Why are you crying, Thunder God Nick? Yeah, neat. Tubes are neat because you can, like, turn them and then make them bigger. And then if you just kind of loop it, like, you kind of can make, a 3-dimensional space. And that could be like a vine or something. It helps with, what's that called? Foreshortening. I'm terrible at foreshortening, but the tubes help me with it. And, ooh, another, advice is, like, whenever you get to a part, like, it's hidden. Whenever you get to a part where you're like, her hair right here is hidden, but you don't want to fudge up this, the bangs that you did, you can create a new layer and kind of like say, oh, okay, so it's going to be here. And then later you can go back and erase the parts that are hidden. And that's really helpful. This part would eventually be hidden too. So, oh, I see. Sorry, I just balled my hand up into a fist to see how it looks, and it kind of goes like that. And her pinky wouldn't nearly go down as far. And then I can go back to that other layer where I drew the one pigtail and hide everything that overlaps with her arm. Like that. Does anybody have any... Awesome, thank you. Let's see. I think I only have 3 minutes left, so I don't know if anybody has any questions. I can try and go over them before I run out of time. Oh, thank you, Queen Leaf Asgard. Okay, hold on, I just got a message. Maybe they're telling me to leave. Yeah, 5 minutes. Okay. What? Okay, what do I do? Just stop streaming? I'm asking because I've never streamed before. I just draw stuff and then draw more stuff. Okay, cool. I just asked what I was supposed to be doing, and they were like, 5-minute warning, and I was like, okay. So I'll be ending here they gave me a 5-minute warning, which was 2 minutes ago, so a 3-minute warning. Thank you guys, for joining me, and, if you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm Aria Emerald Illustrations. And, I do stuff for NebrasKon. I don't know. I draw some of the stuff there. And, I'm glad that everybody joined me today. And I hope you guys have a good weekend. And a good rest of the year. Yeah. And if you draw stuff, tag me so I can look at it.